Target Trading Academy.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Preston Vogl here at Target Trading Academy with today's micros market recap. Let's get right into it. It is 2 minutes to New York close. It'll close probably when we get to them on the 4th. It's a Tuesday of April 4th. It's a Tuesday. A little discombobulated today. That's what happens when you don't get sleep. Anyways, but we opened up, gap up in oil. If we just get right into it. Again, remember yesterday we opened like 5+ points or so gap up as well. Never got back to the close or even near the range high from Friday. And this is the same case for today. We did open, well, not the same case of opening gap up and never getting back in to it for Monday's values, but I'm talking about Friday. We still have yet to get back to that discrepancy made from the gap up on Monday and get back into Friday's values, if we ever will. There's no telling if that's the case. However, we did open gap up. It looked like they were going to do another run for a gap and go, but they were short-lived, and eventually they did make their way back down, giving opportunities for students at these edges. Remember, these edges are drawn out the night before, meaning they're not drawn during the day at that moment or after the fact. They are drawn the night before and given and distributed to our students so that they put them onto their own charts and trade off them during that evening that they get them, the early morning before the market opens, the pre-market, or just during the pit, whatever they prefer to trade and when they prefer to trade, I should say. But ultimately, with that being said, that with brief explanation of the HVAs and when students get them, oil did close net positive compared to its close from yesterday, which was very net positive. As far as gold goes, we opened inside the range of gold, and we just consolidated for a very, decent amount of time. That's a good hour right there or so. And then they just decided to go long and not look back. There were several retracements, several opportunities for trending entries. One decent opportunity for that inverse long off that contract high. But with that being said, we did make new highs in the contract, did get above that 2040 mark. We did close net positive, obviously. So gold did go higher today as well. As far as our equities, they are technically closed with the New York close right now. They'll be moving for another hour or so until the Chicago close. But usually a lot of the volume leaves during that time anyway. So best to follow the New York close. But with that being said, we opened above the close from yesterday. So we were gap up, even gap up from the contract high. And we had an immediate sell off to get back into balance. So that edge did get hit. It held quite a bit before that opening highs were tested very briefly, and they came back down, and then they tested them again. And again, they were short-lived. It seemed like no one wanted to make it higher in the U.S. As opposed to the overnight where they drove it up higher. So let's see if tonight will be the same, if they're going to rally in the Asian and European markets as opposed to today where they went down. And it was a fight tooth and nail, I'll give you that. But you can see the movement at the edges, the large selling pressure. There were lots of opportunities to rally at those edges. Again, you just got consolidation on the way down. It was choppy. It was slow. It's normal. That happens. Not every day is going to be like that, but you have to recognize those directional moves and trade accordingly. Ultimately, we did get into this HVA that we're currently seeing right now, and we just got stuck there for the most part. As you can see, we got there around lunch, and then they'll put in a ton of volume in this area around this 4130 mark, and they just will keep coming back to it, and you'll see that throughout the day. But you can see it was very slow, very grindy, but again, plenty of opportunities at those edges for our students. Ultimately, we are finishing net down in the equities. Same with the NASDAQ. Also, NASDAQ had opened gap up from its close and just had that meltdown. However, the start of the NASDAQ was a little bit choppier. You can see it's stuck between these two HVAs when there's an HVA that's that close to each other, those edges, and the relative size of the bars are almost touching end to end, this is going to be what we refer to as a kill box, meaning it's just not a generally not a good idea to be trading around this area at all. Much rather wait for an expansion away and then go back to it if you were. You just don't want to get caught up in there. We call it a kill box because the sideways movements that can occur there, and you're just best off not trading inside that level. With that being said, you can see that once they do get in them, each time it is a little bit of a fight, but they eventually do break out. As is, anything, you're going to get away from it. You can't go sideways forever. Doesn't mean it won't be slow, but um, regardless, they did break away, ultimately getting out of it, hitting those edges several times on the underside, and then on the way down, hitting that range low. Sorry, not the range low, but the HVA low that was here, having a tremendous response, getting back up to that level of resistance, struggling to break up through it. They did bleed through a little bit, but ultimately the sellers still had the agenda on the day, and then lunchtime came around. And much like the ES, they kind of just got stuck in this area, and they put down a lot of volume. In fact, they put on that volume at that same spot that they couldn't get through that 243 mark. But ultimately, they are closing down on the day. They did, as you can see, break down even further, putting in some new lows before that rally, 10 minutes or so before the market closed here in New York. If you are interested in these levels, once more, they are drawn the night before so that you can have them ready to go. However, if you're interested in that or learning the methodology that we teach live in the rooms, feel free to reach out to us. We are Target Trading Academy. You can find us on Facebook or go just straight to our website at targettrading.co. Get in touch with a consultant at either location. They'll gladly show you what we do in our rooms each and every day. You'll be able to see for yourself why we are the #1 trading education company in the world. Look forward to seeing you there.